W8VPV. Repeater. W8VPV. Repeater. Net.
Good evening, and welcome to the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club's Monday evening transmission of Amateur Radio Newsline. My name is Russ, and my call is KDA-VYT. But for this presentation of Newsline, I will be using the club call Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. Without further ado, this is Amateur Radio Newsline.
Amateur Radio Newsline Report number 2411 with the release date of Friday, January 12, 2024, to follow in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The following is a QST. Students build their way to a direct contact with space, a 6-month extension for hams on some bands in Germany, and a moment of honor for soda on the islands of Scotland. All this and more as Amateur Radio Newsline Report number 2411 comes your way right now. From around the world, this is Newsline, Amateur Radio's first independent on-the-air news and bulletin service. Now reporting from Charleston, West Virginia, here's Jim Dameron, N8TMW. We begin this week with a story that captivated the national media here in the United States and social media everywhere. It was a contact made barely a month ago between Pennsylvania high school students and astronauts aboard the International Space Station. This was a contact, however, with something that set it apart from many. Kent Peterson, KC0DGY, tells us how it happened.
Like so many other hundreds of contacts that have been made over the years between students and ISS astronauts, the well-publicized QSO with Harbor Creek High School near Erie, Pennsylvania, rely on the support of volunteers and staff who are part of the amateur radio on the International Space Station. They assisted with scheduling and helped coordinate the contact with NASA Mission Control in Houston. This was a very different QSO, however. About 3/4 of the participating high school students were licensed amateur radio operators, young hams who developed, built, installed, and operated the radio system in preparation for this high-profile contact. They even assembled the antennas that were installed on the school building's roof. In other words, this was a direct contact between the school and the ISS, with no telebridge or phone patch to serve as the customary go-between. This kind of hands-on student involvement is uncommon in the long history of ARIS and its 1,600 or so educational contacts, according to Frank Bauer, KA3HDO, Executive Director of ARIS USA. He told Newsline in an email that ARIS strongly encourages this kind of hands-on student involvement, but doesn't see it often. He told Newsline, quote, "It's a rarity to be celebrated," end quote. Frank said that working with Educational Lead Assistant Principal Drew Mortensen, AC3DS, the teams in the Harbor Creek Advanced Technologies Group handled the ISS satellite operations on their own. Watching the contact happen, ARIS technical mentor Gordon Scannell, KD8COJ, told the local newspaper, quote, "They've done this, they know how to do this," end quote. The result was a QSO with Commander Andreas Mogensen, KG5GCZ. It was arranged by ARIS and NASA, but made by students. And it was a contact the nation, if not the world, got to watch. This is Kent Peterson, KC0DGY.
If you regularly promise yourself the moon for many of your radio contacts, you may have something to offer to fellow hams attending the next Earth-Moon-Earth Communications Conference later this year. Cell MB KB3TZD has those details.
Organizers of the 20th International Earth-Moon-Earth Communications Conference have chosen the campus of the College of New Jersey as the host site for August 9th through 11th, but they still need presenters to discuss advancements in the mode. Although the conference focuses on operations at 432 MHz and above, amateurs with experience and expertise on 50 MHz, 144 MHz, and 222 MHz are also welcome. Presentations can range from 25 minutes to 50 minutes long and can cover such topics as issues and procedures for EME options, unusual equipment, software, and of course, EME operating experiences. The New Jersey campus, just outside of Trenton, is central to Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, and New York City. A new feature this year will be a live course called EME 101 for operators who are looking to get started in EME or want additional tips on gear or techniques for the different bands. This one-day class is separate from the EME conference and takes place on Friday, August 9th. Registration fee is $50, but attendees at the 3-day conference will be able to attend the EME 101 class at no extra charge. See the website address in the text version of this week's newscast at arnewsline.org for additional details. If you wish to be a presenter at the conference, you will find more information about what the organizers need in advance. This is Salembi, KP3 TZD.
Hams in Germany who've been enjoying temporary privileges on some bands will be able to use them for 6 more months, as Jeremy Boot, G4NJH, tells us.
Amateurs in Germany who are using temporarily allocated frequencies on 160 meters, 6 meters, and 4 meters, as well as Class E license holders being allowed to use the 13 centimeter and 5 centimeter bands, have been given a 6-month extension from the telecommunications regulator, BNETS-A. The announcement was made in late December in the regulator's newsletter, which noted that the extension expires on the 30th of June. Until then, all license, class, polarization, and power restrictions remain in place, and use continues to be on a non-interference basis. The extension permits the use of 1.8 and 2 MHz on weekends for contests. It also grants continued use of 50 to 52 MHz and 70.150 to 70.210 MHz. In the meantime, German amateurs who want to test for the new entry-level Class N license later this year are advised to monitor the DARC website at 50ohm.de for updates on the exam syllabus, which is considered compatible with the requirements for the CPT entry-level license. This is Jeremy Boot, G4NJH.
A ham operator who was best known as a beloved TV weatherman even after his retirement 22 years ago has become a silent key. We hear about him from Andy Morrison, K9AWM.
Marty Engstrom, N1ARY, was forever known as Marty on the Mountain among viewers of Maine's TV station WMTW Channel 8. His real job from atop Mount Washington, New England's highest peak, was to keep the station's transmitters on the air from there. Marty reluctantly agreed to read the regional weather report on camera as well, despite having no background in meteorology, and until his retirement in 2002, his folksy delivery, awkward smile, and his clip-on tie became his trademark. In 2019, he was inducted into the Maine Association of Broadcasters Hall of Fame. Marty died on January 4th at his home in Maine after a brief illness, according to local news reports. He was 86. This is Andy Morrison, K9AWM.
Hams on the late night and East Coast reflectors are missing a good-natured, good-humored member of their community. We hear about him from Dave Parks, WB8ODF.
Tom Molyneux Jr., KE3GK, was an avid contester on both SSP and CW and had the awards hanging all over his shack walls to prove it. He was a member of the Northeast Maryland Amateur Radio Club. Licensed since 1991, Tom served as an influence and example for hams and non-hams alike, but was perhaps proudest of the ham radio interest he sparked in one of his 5 grandchildren, his grandson Grayson. Tom became a silent key on the 9th of January. Recalled by his radio friends as friendly, funny, and always willing to help newcomers, he was also an eager volunteer, brainstorming ideas to keep his fellow amateurs engaged. His more popular ideas included a Saturday 9 a.m. net on 40 meters and the East Coast Reflectors net, the Second Cup, also at 9 a.m. Monday through Friday. A veteran of the U.S. Navy, he leaves behind his family, including his wife Phyllis, who he had known since he was 7 years old. Tom was a friend of mine. He was 66. I'm Dave Parks, WB8ODF.
It's going to be a busy year for the Ham Radio Village, K0HRV, helping nurture and create new licensed hams. George Zafiropoulos, KJ6VU, has the details.
Members of the maker communities, as well as people involved in STEM and STEAM activities, will be getting enhanced access to the path to prepare for an amateur radio license with the help of an $18,000 grant from amateur radio digital communications. The funds are being given to the Ham Radio Village, K0HRV, a Colorado-based nonprofit that has been advocating for more individuals in various technical fields to get their amateur radio licenses. As always, Ham Radio Village intends to provide these communities with hands-on experience, expertise on amateur radio issues, and to lead license testing both online and in person. Ham Radio Village is known for its presence at DEF CON, a hacker convention held every year in Las Vegas, and hopes that this grant money will take its efforts beyond there. The outreach will include such other conferences as GNU Radio or GRCon, Maker Fairs, and the IEEE Communications Conference. This is George Zafiropoulos, KJ6VU.
Time to identify your station. We're the Amateur Radio Newsline, heard on bulletin stations around the world, including the WA2 EHL repeater in Burlington, New Jersey, Fridays at 7 p.m. local time. Starlink satellites have been launched in preparation for the start of experimental texting via space. Ken Peterson, KC0DGY, brings us up to date.
SpaceX has announced that the recent launch and deployment of 6 Starlink satellites is expected to enable texting from space this year on an experimental basis for mobile phones in partnership with cellular operators. SpaceX has partnered with T-Mobile USA to conduct the initial tests and also has agreements with providers in Switzerland, New Zealand, Japan, Canada, and Chile. The company is hoping the satellites will help eliminate cellular dead zones, enabling users to send text messages even when they are in regions outside the T-Mobile network. The Starlink model differs from the service provided to Apple's iPhones, which use an emergency SOS via satellite, utilizing Globalstar satellites to establish a connection between the iPhones and ground stations. These 6 new satellites have a greater optical reflectivity than other Starlink broadband satellites. During the webcast of the January 2nd launch, SpaceX said they plan to consult with astronomers to determine what impact, if any, these new direct-to-cell satellites will have on observatories so SpaceX can make any necessary orbital adjustments. Starlink has told the U.S. Federal Communications Commission that its ultimate plan is to deploy 840 such satellites for direct-to-cell communications during the next 6 months. Voice and data services are not in its plans until sometime in 2025, and Starlink must first get regulatory permission for commercial use. This is Kent Peterson, KC0DGY.
As amateurs prepare to pack up and travel to Hamcation in Orlando, Florida, organizers of the annual event have announced winners of 2 major awards to be presented there next month: the Carol Perry Educator of the Year Award and the Gordon West Ambassador of the Year Award. Jack Parker, W8ISH, has that story.
Louis Malchik, N2RQ, a co-founder of the ARRL School Club Roundup and an active participant in this year's event for more than 25 years, will receive the 2024 Carol Perry Educator of the Year Award at Hamcation. The honor recognizes educators for their contributions to advancing amateur radio among students. Lou is a former chemistry teacher at Brooklyn Tech High School in New York, where he is an advisor to the school's ham radio club, W2CXN. Lou also serves as a trustee for the ham club in Stuyvesant High School, W2CLS in Manhattan. He is also chairman of the Long Island Mobile Amateur Radio Club's Education Committee, which has sponsored 5 student contacts with amateur radio on the International Space Station. The Gordon West Ambassador of the Year Award recipient is being shared by Fred and Anita Kemmerer. Fred, AB1OC, and Anita, AB1QB, promote STEM education through amateur radio instruction and youth outreach through the Nausea Area Radio Society in New Hampshire. They are also the creators of Ham Boot Camp, which helps new licensees and prospective hams upgrade their skills. Fred is director of the ARRL's New England Division, and Anita is an assistant division director for mentoring and the development of new hams. Hamcation is being held from the 9th through the 11th of February, when the recipients will be honored. This is Jack Parker, W8ISH.
The religious pilgrimage that began on January 8th in India is known as the Ganga Saga Mela. and is known for many things, but sadly the annual gathering of tens of thousands of worshipers from around the nation is also known for more than its share of people who go lost or missing. This year, a group of amateurs specializing in reuniting families has taken a proactive approach with a new online resource. Jason Daniels, VK2LAW, explains.
Tens of thousands of Hindu pilgrims travel from around India to West Bengal for an annual festival of spirituality and renewal known as the Gangasagar Mela. They arrive in pursuit of a dip into the waters of the confluence of the Bay of Bengal at the Ganges River, but many of them end up in pursuit of family members who have somehow wandered off. Ham radio operators with the West Bengal Radio Club have developed a specialty over the years in facilitating many kinds of reunions for missing persons. And this year, the Hams have introduced a web portal that will help the lost become found. The website enables people to upload pictures of the person they're looking for, eliminating a long-standing issue of language barriers at such a large event. The West Bengal Club Secretary, Ambarishnak Biswas, VU2JFA, said the website myham.in will display photos along with information about each person and their last known location. The Mela is scheduled to conclude on the 17th of January. This is Jason Daniels, VK2LAW.
In the world of DX, listen for Chris, WA7RAR, operating as 8P9CB from Barbados, IOTA number NA021, until the 25th of January. Many of his activation sites are also POTA sites. Listen on 20 through 10 meters, where he'll be using CW and SSB. See QRZ.com for QSL details. Bob, W9XY, and Ken, K4ZW, are on the air from the ET3AA club station at Addis Ababa University's Institute of Technology until the 20th of January. They will concentrate on using the high bands, QSL via N200. SOTA summits have always been a special destination for those of us who embrace the wilderness of the airwaves in combination with the wilder spots here on Earth. For our final story, Jeremy Boot, G4NJH, tells us how enthusiasts in Scotland have been celebrating the life of one amateur who embraced both pursuits in different countries for many of his 80 years.
The islands of Scotland, with their varied landscapes and promise of adventure, called to Andre Saunders, GM3VLB. Starting in the 1960s, he distinguished himself through a variety of portable operations and specialized aerial designs, concentrating later on the islands of his own home, Scotland. When he became a silent key in 2019, he left a means for the Lothians Radio Society to encourage amateur activity on those same islands that had served him so well. The Society, which launched an award scheme in 2022, recently announced the 2023 winners of the GM3VLB SOTA Islands Award. Ben Lloyd, GW4BML, in first place, and Paul Hodgkinson, G4IPB, in second place. The Society also honored Gust, W9SSN, for successful activations furthest from his home QTH. The award has just entered its third year, and anyone in the world can help pay tribute to Andre through a series of valid activations from any SOTA summit in the GMSI Scottish Islands region. You simply have to be willing to travel to the islands, then climb or walk, sometimes through deep bogs, in Andre's footsteps. This is Jeremy Boot, G4NJH.
If you have a piece of amateur radio news, overview via the contact page at arnewsline.org. If it's newsworthy and we'd like to cover it, we'll get back to you for more details. Meanwhile, if you're feeling even a little bit poetic, visit our website to learn more about the Amateur Radio Newsline Haiku Challenge. We've started a new year and a new challenge. Use the entry form on our website and please follow the rules for the proper number of syllables when writing your 3-line haiku. And be sure to check out our previous winners. With thanks to Amateur Radio Daily, Amateur Radio Digital Communications, ARRL, CQ Magazine, CNET, David Behar, K7DB, DX World, EME Conference, Frank Bauer, KA3HDO, 425DX News, India.TV, Michael Colley, W4ORL, QRZ.com, ShortwaveRadio.de, The Soda Reflector, Space News, ThePrint.com, WMTW, WJBQ, and you, our listeners, that's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline. We remind listeners that Amateur Radio Newsline is an all-volunteer, non-profit organization and incurs expenses for its continued operation. If you'd like to support us, visit our website at arnewsline.org, and know we appreciate you all. We also remind listeners, if you like our newscast, leave us a 5-star rating wherever you subscribe to us. For now, with Karen E. Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team worldwide, I'm Jim Dameron, N8TNW in Charleston, West Virginia, saying 73. As always, thank you for listening. Amateur Radio Newsline is copyright 2024, all rights reserved.
This concludes our Monday evening transmission of Amateur Radio Newsline. Net to start in about 9 minutes.
W8VPV. Repeater.
Good evening. Calling all amateur radio operators. Welcome to the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club, Monday night VHF UHF net. My name is Thomas. My call sign is Kilo Echo 8 Oscar Whiskey X-Ray. However, for the purpose of this net, I'll be using the club call Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. For those of there listening, there appears to be that we may have a small problem with the VHF antenna. so we're coming through UHF as they're linked today. So if you have trouble getting in, bump over to the UHF side and see if you can get in better that way. This is an open and directed net. All amateur radio operators are invited and encouraged to check in. You do not have to be a club member. All traffic will go through net control. And since emergency traffic may break in at any time, please leave a brief pause between transmissions. The purpose of this net is to bring together all amateur radio operators for the exchanging of amateur-related ideas and information, to enhance net operating practices, and at times of social isolation to keep members up to date about club happenings. This net meets here every Monday evening at 8:30 p.m., preceded by Amateur Radio Newsline at 8:01. We'll start with announcements, then ask for check-ins from any officer or member who has an announcement of general interest to the club. Once that's complete, we'll go to check-ins, normal check-ins, call signs only, 5 at a time. Give me a second to confirm each call before moving on to the next. We'll work through those 5 and then ask for 5 more until we're done. If you're a regular participant, we'll probably recognize you by call sign. If not, please give your call, repeat it phonetically, followed by your name and your location. When all check-ins have been worked, we'll close the net after repeating the announcements. We also operate an HF plus 6 meter band exploration net starting at 9:30 after this net. Approximate frequencies are posted on the web page. Tonight will be on 40 meters in the ballpark of 7 Mark 187. Final frequency will be announced closer to 9:30 on this repeater. Please join us if you have the privileges and equipment. For announcements, I know we have 2 really quick announcements. The general class on Zoom just started yesterday. So if you're interested in upgrading from tech to general, that class you should be able to still get into. You just have to look on our website, and the information to get in contact with those guys is on there. And we'd love to have you in the class. The second is not our club, but the Electronics History Museum is starting an extra class on Zoom, and that starts this Thursday. The information on how to get hooked up onto that class is also on our website, and that's for those that are interested in going into their general class or their extra class there. So those are the 2 announcements that I have. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor asking for check-ins from any officer or ham that has an announcement of general interest to the club. Please call now.
This is WO3X.
W8EZT.
All right, WO3X first. Go ahead.
Yes, there is going to be an officers and trustees meeting this Thursday on Zoom at 5:30 p.m. I think that's the time. So with that, back to the net. This is WO3X.
All right, thanks for that. Go ahead, Frank, W8EZT.
All right, thanks, Thomas. Everybody on the net. Coming up the end of this month is Winter Field Day. I've got about 5 people interested in participating. We're going to make a no-go decision as far as having a station set up probably over here by where we used to meet at near the Northampton Town Hall within a couple of days. So if you're interested in putting a couple of hours into it, maybe helping with setup, maybe helping with teardown, maybe operating for a couple hours, please reach out to me and let me know. Probably best bet is my call, W8EZT at cfarc.org. Let me break for time. And we'll make sure you're on the mailing list and keep you up to date. It's not a huge commitment. It's just something fun to do to get you out in the house in the winter. The trailer is heated, well heated. We'll be running off generator power, and won't have any problem there. So anybody who's done it in the past knows what we're talking about. All right, that's all I've got. We'll hand it back to you, Thomas. Please check me in, and we'll catch you tonight on 40 meters a little bit later this evening.
All right, we'll add that to the announcements here. Are there any other announcements for the betterment of the club? Please call now.
Actually, I do have one more.
Go ahead, Frank.
My brain's not all there. I'm actually working on the basis of the other announcement. We're putting together an Echolink interface to this repeater. Those of you in the meeting saw the prototype and what is going to be the unit partially put together. I'm still working on the glue and now starting in on the software. The meeting for our activity meeting will be a presentation on Echolink. There's a not super complicated but a multi-step process to get an Echolink authorization, and that is required because only ham radio operators can use Echolink. If you don't have a ham radio license, you cannot use Echolink. There's a process where you identify yourself, then end up mailing, after you respond to them, they end up mailing in copies of your license information, and then you get a secret password that you can put in the Echolink app, which you can have on your cell phone, and get online, log in, especially if you're on vacation or something. It's a great tool. So that'll be our activity meeting. If you can't make it in person, join us via Zoom. Instructions on the web. All right, back to you, WADCT.
Thank you, Frank. All right, do we have any other announcements for the club? Please call now. Hearing none, we'll move on. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor, now asking for regular check-ins. We're looking for 5 check-ins. Give me a call sign only, and then give me a chance to recognize each call before we move on to the next. Please call now.
Alpha Charlie 8, X-Ray Oscar.
I got N8NH in and out. There was somebody underneath of him, must have been on a VHF repeater. Please call again.
Alpha Charlie 8, X-Ray Oscar.
AC8XO, got you. 3 more, please.
So Echo 8, Yankee Tango Golf.
YTG, got you. 2 more.
KE8, KVI, in and out.
I got KE8, KVI, in and out, and then there was somebody underneath of him. Please call back.
That might have been me, WA8RCN.
All right, got RCN. All right, we'll go back up to AC8XO. Go ahead, Vince.
Good evening, Thomas and everybody else on the net. Not a whole heck of a lot. Not going to go in big for any articles. That's done and over with. Got time for submitting that nonsense. Other than that, it's colder than I'll get out over here in Silver Lake, and we're just trying to stay warm. So AC8XO, back to net.
Thanks for stopping by, Vince. WO3X, John, did you have anything else, or were you in and out after the announcements there?
That's all I had. I'll just be listening. This is WO3X, back to the net.
All right, KE8YTG, go ahead.
thank you, Thomas, for running the net tonight. This is KE8YTG, Steve, in Stowe. I'm like Vince, right next door here in Stowe, trying to stay warm and stoking the fire down in the basement here. So, again, I want to thank you for running the net. I am out. Thank you so much, KE8YTG. Back to the net.
Thanks for stopping by. WA8RCN, you're up.
Hey neighbor, hey Thomas and the group here. Good to hear everybody. We're just going to sit down here and listen, see what's going on. So I got no traffic or anything. So W8VPV, W8RCN, Jim in Cuyahoga Falls.
Thanks for stopping by. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. We went through our 5, so let's get 5 more on the log here. Please call now.
K8BU.
I got you, Larry. Next, please.
K8WTK.
Got you, Bill. Next, please.
KG4SCK.
Well, there's middle mark, KG4SCK, correct?
Affirmative, Tom.
All right. Do we have 2 more sitting out there? Please call now. All right. Got you in and out. Thanks, Mike. And 1 more, please.
KE8ULA, Leo.
All right. Got you, ULA. All right. We'll go back up to Larry, K8PU. You're up.
Evening, Thomas. Everybody on the net. Thanks for running the net on this finally winter night. Been pretty lucky skating along till now, but our luck's running out. We're going to have to look at some cold weather. Well, we'll get by it. Nothing really to add. My antenna's happy. I'll catch you on 40 meters, 9:30. So back to you, Thomas. And like I say, everybody, stay in, keep warm, and be careful. W8VPV, K8PU.
Yeah, I had to check my antenna and make sure I'd still be okay to run the net. It's probably a good idea for everybody to check now. K8WTK, go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. W8VPV, K8WTK. Just trying to stay warm. Turned on my 9:30 this morning at about 10 o'clock to 2900. And first thing I heard was a guy from England calling CQ. So 10 meters was pretty good this morning. And that lasted for about an hour, and then I didn't hear a thing. But doing a little work on our 10-tech tuner. They used an elastic cord in there to pull the dial needle back for the roller inductor instead of the typical thing you'd find in an old radio with a spring tensioned continuous loop to move the dial pointer. So it's been fun to try to get restrung. And that's about it here. Back to net. W8VPV, KA8WTK.
Thanks for stopping by, Bill. And speaking of 10 meters, middle mark, you're up. How did 10 meters go this morning? KE8 or W8VPV.
Good evening, Tom, and W8VPV participants. 10 meters was hopping for a little this morning, but I didn't like the way my ham station was arranged and opted to go to the big W and get a longer fold-out table so I could have my HF rig on one side and the VHF rig on the other side, and of course the computer and screen in the middle. By the time I did that, work got in the way. It was a mandatory holiday off day, but the boss called and I still had to work. So there was that. KG4SCK back to W8VPV, and good evening, Tom. KD8OWX.
Oh man, sent back to the mill to work when you're supposed to be off. Boy. Well, hopefully you get it straightened out and can have some better luck when you get some more hours there. KE8ULA, go ahead.
Good evening, Tom, and everyone on the net. So just in trying to get over this cold weather spell we're having here. Got to put a sweater on my dog just to take him for a walk these days. So my wife and I went to the RV show on Saturday at the IX Center. On the way out there, that's when we realized that the heater in my truck is not working. So that's in the shop now. Just trying to figure out how much that's going to cost me. So the VHF Simplex contest this Saturday, 10 to 4 p.m. if I'm not mistaken. I plan to be on if I get a chance. Try to make a few contacts. Back to the net, KE8ULA.
I believe you are correct. That is this Saturday, the VHF contest. We'll add that to our announcements. And thanks for stopping by. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. Looking for additional check-ins. Please call now.
November 8, Alpha Charlie Papa, N8 ACP, Chris, Cadillac Hill.
Well, good evening, Chris. Go ahead.
Good evening there, Thomas, and all on the net. Well, just hopefully everybody's staying warm. It has been nasty out there the last couple of days with the wind chill, so if you're out and about, keep the skin covered and be careful. Let's see, 10 meters has been wide open. I finally got Malawi, and that was the first contact I've ever had with that country, and it was on 10 meters in the tech portion of the band, so everybody's got the privileges here in the United States for phone on that portion, and it doesn't take much to build a dipole, so it's just been smoking. Worked Alaska this afternoon on 10 meters, and he was booming in, so missed Kuwait though. That was on 40, that he was absolutely smoking in. So lots of good DX out there. I think about 150 countries with 100 watts on a wire. Kind of neat to be able to work the world with the power of a light bulb. That's all the news for me, Thomas. W8VPV from N8 ACP.
Very, very good points there, Chris. Good to hear you. Glad you're hanging in there and weathering the cold. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. Looking for additional check-ins. Please call now. Well, that's a short net, but that's okay. Let's jump back through these announcements, and then we'll do a last call here for this net. First, the general class on Zoom started this past Sunday. Still time to jump in on that. Check that out on the website if you are tech and interested in studying for that general class license. Then there's also an extra class license course by the the Electronics Museum. That's also on Zoom. So if you're interested in studying for that, that course, I believe it's 12 weeks or something like that. But that starts this Thursday. That information's on our website as well. We have an officers and trustees meeting this Thursday at 5:30 p.m. Upcoming is Winter Field Day at the end of this month. So if you're interested in that, contact Frank, W8EZT, at cfarc.org. We also have Echolink coming soon. There's information on how to set up your Echolink account so that when that does go in the air, you can jump on that. And then this Saturday is the VHF contest. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and join because, well, technicians have a lot of VHF privileges, including all of 6 meters. So that's a good contest. It's more of a see how far simplex VHF works, but it's also a good way to get a bunch of contacts, and anybody can do that. So those are the announcements. And with that, this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor looking for last call for check-ins. Please call now.
Please copy Kilo Echo 8 Uniform India Bravo KE8 UIB John in Maslin. I'll be in and out 7-3.
All right, got you, John. Thanks for stopping by. You're sounding pretty good all the way from Maslin. Do we have any other check-ins? Please call now.
Kilo Echo 8 Tango Quebec Romeo KE18 QR. Keith in Uniontown, in and out 7-3.
Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor, this is KE8 ULA.
All right, yep, ULA, go ahead with your recheck.
Yeah, I don't know if you intended to, I heard you on the UHF side, but not on the VHF side just there now.
Well, that's highly unusual. I wonder if there is a problem with the link.
And you're fine through VHF, Thomas, November 8 Alpha Charlie Papa.
Thanks for that, Chris. Yep, I'm able to hear it back on the VHF side, so that may have just been a glitch there, but thanks for bringing that up, ULA. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. Do we have any last-minute check-ins? Please call now.
Kilo Echo 8 Tango Quebec Romeo KE18 QR. Keith in Uniontown, in and out 7-3.
Well, thank you, Keith, for stopping in. Good to hear you, and good luck in wiring up the internal stuff on your tower project there. All right, we'll do one final call, then close us up. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor looking for any more check-ins. Please call now. Hearing none, we'll prepare to close this net. I'd like to thank all of those that took the time to check in tonight. Without your participation, there would be no net. this has been Kilo Echo 8 Oscar Whiskey X-Ray, and it's been my pleasure to host this evening's net. At this time, we'll close the net with 16 check-ins and return to the repeater to normal and customary amateur use. We will announce the 40-meter frequency much closer to 9:30 on the repeaters. So keep an ear out for that. This has been Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor, closing the net at 8:56 p.m. local time, 73.
Thomas, W8EZT here.
Yes, Frank.
Go ahead and check Forrest in. I just happened to be, I heard a comment about the link not working and was listening around and heard him on the input side. Forrest, if you can hear this, you have got your radio out of repeater mode and you're transmitting on simplex, the same frequency that we're receiving on. So that's probably why you can't get through. W8EZT.
All right, Frank. Got him checked in. KE8OWX.
Actually, I think maybe you don't have your tone on. I did hear you on 8.7, but I did not hear your PL tone. I think that's your problem, Forrest. PL tone is turned off. W8EZT.
W8VTV repeater.
W8KH, W8 Victor Mike. Ken, I remember those motorized dampers. We had one with 2 chains that went upstairs and it had a manual switch. Easier to somewhat control the temperature, but a lot of it depended on how much you fired up the firebox there. Okay, with that, before we close it down, any late check-ins for the West Park Radio Ops 2-meter Monday night net?
Man.
Go ahead.
Hi, this is AFAC. Thanks to Ken for reminding me of an old story. The house we lived in Freeport, Illinois before March of 1952. Now I remember the chain that you talked about on the furnace. I probably never thought about it since we moved out in 1952, which would now be 72 years. Yeah. So, a memory pops up after 72 years. 7-3 from the FHC.
FHC, W8 Victor Mike. I'm kind of chuckling because it's strange. It's the same thing has happened to me. I've thought of something after many, many years, and it was something that was trivial. Didn't need to know it, didn't need to remember it, but here it is taking up space and crowding out things that I need to know. But it's funny when memories work that way. Well, glad you just sparked up that memory again. Okay, any additional comments before we close the net?
KDGW, I stay around just a couple of minutes after net there, Tom. KDGW.
KDGW, W8 Victor Mike. Okay, thanks for the info there. This has been the West Park Radio Ops 2-meter Monday night net. We'd like to thank the Northern Ohio DX Association for use of their repeater for our nets. The club would like to thank everybody who participated this evening, including those who just listened to tonight's net. We're now turning the repeater back to regular operations. November 8, Victor Mike, and Whiskey 8, Whiskey Lima, India, are both clear. Thanks, and 73 to all.
WLI, KDGW. You got time to finish your paperwork and that? Over.
KDGW, my paperwork's all finished. If you want to take a look at it, it's certainly not the neatest of things, but I don't have fancy paperwork. I use a big pen and a notebook, and I have arrows and little stars and all kinds of notes that I made along the way, and that's the way I do it. And then when books fill, I throw it in the cabinet and get another one out. I don't know why I keep it, but I do. But anyway, you doing okay? It sounds like it is from what you commented on the net.
KDGW. Yeah, I was going to pass along a little bit of information here. Yeah, my doctor told me, and also my wife's orthopedic doctor told her, said it's important at our age that we do not fall, don't fall. And be careful of the black ice and that. And they told me my wife has to use a cane outside the house, but inside the house, she don't use the cane. But it says if she ever feels unsteady, use the cane for being steady. And if it gets to the point you're really unsure your steadiness, to use your walker. And when things get better, go back and forth the cane and the walker. Says, don't be afraid to use it. Don't be ashamed of it. Use it. Whether you go to the store or what. It says when you go to the grocery store, use the grocery cart as a steady, even if it's an empty cart or what, and use that to adjust your walking security and little stuff like that. So, yeah, he just, like tonight, I was going to go to a Norris meeting and with that black ice out there because it rained and then it was froze. And I don't want to fall down. So I stayed home and I'm safe and I'm enjoying radio regardless. Back to you, Tom, from K8AGW.
K8AGW, W8WLI. Well, you're absolutely right. And I've got a walker and a cane, and I keep both in the car, and depending upon the situation, I'll get out whichever one I need. And of course, when we shop, I do use the grocery cart as an excuse there. That works as good as a walker, maybe even better because it's a little bit heavier. But I got to be careful. I got what they call that syncope problem, and that's what when I hurt my head this past summer, that was a result of that, where you actually pass out and then go down. And that's the third incident I've had like that. So they did install a loop recorder in my chest. It's a very small device, and it'll last 4 years. The battery's 4 years. After 4 years, they just pop it out and throw another one in. But what they're hoping to do is catch one of those events. So what I have to do is carry my phone and a device to mark the recorder. It looks backward, and then again it looks forward. So if I have one of these events, I just press the button on that, and then the phone during the night sends it to the doctor's office. So far I've had the recorder about 3 weeks, haven't had anything of any report. They told me if the doctor calls you first thing in the morning, that means you had something the day before, and yes, he will see you in the office that day. So that's always good news. But other than that, I've been staying in a lot, and I can't drive because of that, and I'm hoping to get it corrected so I get back to driving. Unfortunately, the first one I ever had, I didn't recognize what it was. The doctors didn't recognize it. I was driving when it occurred, and I intended to get to the drugstore on the corner, and then I said to myself, I got to turn into the driveway now, and then I said, no, I got to stop in traffic. So I stopped in traffic. My wife managed to get me out of the car and in on the passenger side, at which time everything went away from that. Just as crystal clear as anything. And I thought it was just an ordinary balance problem until I had the second one here at home. So that's what's going on with that. So we're just kind of sitting around, well, not sitting around waiting. I'm not sitting around for anything. I got things to do, and I'm doing them. I got to find more time to get on the radio. Bill will agree with that one. So anyway, hope you and your wife are doing well, staying warm, and hope that the rest of the winter isn't too bad. I don't know whether they're forecasting a tough winter or not. I don't pay too much attention to that. It's like the reports on the radio, not on the radio, but on the TV. We know we got these weather alert days coming, and it's going to be this and that and the other thing. They do give a worst case condition to warn people and hopefully save somebody from injury, but they do tend to overplay it a little bit. But then again, that's their job, and that's why we listen to them to find out what's going on. Okay, Dan, well, let me say 73. This is WHWLI, turning it back to K8AGW. K8AGW.
AGW here. Okay, yeah, that's why I wanted to give you a couple extra minutes. And you're sounding like you're doing terrific there, Tom, and fine job. And I'm afraid if I'd be net control now, I'd make a mess of things. But we got to have good people running these nets. So, but I just want to take a few extra minutes. I don't want to tire you or that. I just wanted to know how you're doing, and it sounds like things are getting better, and all the stuff they have medically now to monitor things now is really fantastic. I'm telling you, it's what they can do and everything. So, well, you and the wife rest well tonight, stay warm, and thanks for coming back. I had to chat a little bit with you there, Tom. It's been a long time. So, 73, and have a good rest of the week. Good night. Sleep well, both of you. KHEW will be clear.
Dan, could I give you a quick phone call?
Yes. Oh yeah, you can give me one. I got the phone right next to me. So we'll be clear now. KHEW here.
KHEW, WHWLI clear.
W8WKY.
Give a little report to Chester as well as start telling us about your vacation plans. Over.
Okay, Patty, thank you. KE7IR in the group W7GDK. And good evening, Chester, K1GKM. I'm George, W7GDK, near Sierra Vista, Arizona. You're 5 and 9. 5 and 9. You're off the back of my Yagi, so good signal coming in off the back. Nice to meet you. Well, okay, so what travel plans and where for this year? Well, nothing real firm. I don't have any reservations for anything. I would like to get back to the Grand Canyon, in, general terms of travel plans. I'd like to visit the canyon again. Don't plan on going anywhere to get into the solar eclipse. We'll watch it from here and get our 70% or 80% in, whatever it's going to be. I think it's going to be a zoo going to places east to watch the eclipse. That's becoming quite an event. So I think we'll just stay out of that melee and see what we see here. So again, I'd like to get to the canyon. I would like to get to up to Estes Park, Colorado one of these days to stay in the Stanley Hotel and enjoy that area and go through Rocky Mountain National Park again. Haven't been there in 20, 30, 40 holy cow, I don't know, almost 40 years. So I'd like to see that again. And eventually you get to Yellowstone. I haven't been there since I was a kid. So that's not all going to happen this year. I think Grand Canyon will, and possibly the Stanley Hotel. Those are my goals for some time this year. KE7IR in the group, W7GDK.
All right, George, W7GDK.
I'm fine with you too, man. And
I mean, we got to do this.
awful brave. There is no way.
No way. You can't get me up past 20 feet. That's high enough for me.
I always joke with guys, that's a sliver of what I love radio. I love RF. So yeah, I do things for FM broadcast, television, microwave. Oh, these guys. Oh, I built.
Really knocked down.
My son Tommy, W7PD, has the most recent fix of this column, which caused it.
has a wonderful ICQ.
Kilowatt. Number 0, Yankee Whiskey.
Yes, I wanted to do whatever that was classified. On your call again, it's K.
Looking for a regular check-in, please.
All right, WTK, got you in there, Bill. Next, please. Whiskey 0. All right, I got both W8EZT and WO3X. Two more, please.
K8PU.
Got you, K8PU. One more.
KE8YTG, in and out.
All right, got you in and out. Thanks for stopping by. We'll go back up to Bill, K8WTK. Go ahead.
WAVTV, K88, WTK, Bill and Talmadge. Good news is I finally got that dial cord on after the net. Got it back together. What a crazy thing to use. Elastic cord. If you let your concentration slip for a second, everything flies apart. It was getting a little frustrating. Other than that, like I said, staying warm. Haven't been burning the wood stoves though. I find if I use that when it gets this cold, the furnace doesn't run because the thermostat's upstairs and the basement gets a little chilly, and I don't want to get the pipes down there too cold. So we've been running the furnace, but not too warm. Waiting for this spell to get over. It won't last. It'll get over, what, June? Anyway, back to net control. WAVPV, KA8WTK.
Thanks for stopping by, Bill. Frank, you're up. W8EZT.
Well, good evening here. I'll keep this brief. I'm pulling a high SWR here, and I do not know what's happening. I hope everybody is surviving and their furnaces are working. Mother Nature sure is doing what she can do as she wants to. You got the announcements great, so I'll hand it to you, and hopefully we'll hear from anybody who wants to participate in Winter Field Day. Back to you, W8EZT.
Thanks for stopping by, Frank. WO3X, you're up. All right, John, thanks for stopping by. Larry, K8PU, you're up.
Evening, Thomas. Everybody on the net. Don't have the best connection here, so just tell everybody stay and keep warm and catch everybody next week. So back to you, WHVPV, K8PU.
Thanks for stopping by, Larry. Yeah, it's a little noisy today, but we're managing through it. This is Whiskey 8, Victor, Papa Victor, looking for any additional check-ins. Please call now.
November 8, Alpha, Charlie, Papa, and 8 ACP.
I'm not sure. My noise level is so high, but N8ACP, was that you in there?
Roger, roger, roger.
All right, well, go ahead.
I'm not hearing some of the other guys well. I heard you well, Thomas, very well. In fact, probably the best I've ever heard you at 40 meters, so fine business there. But I don't really have anything else since the VHF, UHF net, so just giving you one for the numbers. W8VPV, November 8 Alpha Charlie Papa 73.
All right, thanks for stopping by there, Chris. This is Whiskey 8 Victor, Papa Victor, looking for any additional check-ins. Please call now. Well, we'll jump into announcements again real quick and then come back for our last call. First, general class on Zoom is starting, so if you know anybody that would like to study for their general class but needs that kick of somebody else doing the outline for them to study, that's a good one to jump in on. It's all online on Zoom, so it can be anywhere across the country. I think we have like 40 people signed up this month, so or this round. So it's a pretty big class. That information is on our website. There's also information on an extra class, not provided by us, but it is also online, and that starts this Thursday if anybody's interested. Also this Thursday is an officers and trustees meeting. That information's on our website, as well as Echolink that is coming soon. So our next meeting will be a meeting on Echolink. There's also directions on the website on how to set that up, so you can walk yourself through that. And second to lastly, this weekend is a bunch of contests. One locally is a VHF contest, so that's open to everybody because that's 6 meters plus. It's all VHF, so all of our techs are able to join in on that. So join in on that when you get the chance. That'd be a great place to see how far 2 meters is working today and 6 meters. And then lastly, Winterfield Day. There's some interest, but if you're interested, contact Frank, W8EZT at cfarc.org, so you can figure out if he's going to pull a trailer out and make it all happen outside. So that is the end of our announcements there. This is Whiskey 8 Victor, Papa Victor. We're looking for any final check-ins. Please call now. Hearing none, I'd like to thank everybody that took the time to join us and check in tonight. Without your participation, we would not have a net. This has been Kilo Echo 8, Oscar Whiskey X-Ray, and it's been my pleasure to host this evening's net. At this time, I'll close the net with 7 check-ins and return the frequency to normal and customary amateur use. This has been Whiskey 8 Victor, Papa Victor, closing the net at 9:43 p.m. local time, 73.
73, Tom. Kilo 8 Zulu Tango.